Am I the idiot for finding my girlfriend's wigs, trying them on and making fun of them, and now she's upset? So my girlfriend, female 20, and I, male 23, have been dating for about a year now, and we've always had a playful and light-hearted relationship. Today, she had to go out for a few hours, and I was home alone. I decided to use the opportunity to clean the bathroom. As I was tidying up, I noticed a box tucked away in one of the cabinets. Being curious, I opened it and found several wigs inside. Now, it's important to mention that my girlfriend is black, and she often wears different wigs as a way to change up her style. I've always admired her confidence and versatility when it comes to her hair, and I've never had an issue with it. However, in that moment, I thought it would be funny to try on one of the wigs and surprise her when she got back. I didn't see any harm in it because we've always shared a good sense of humor, and I genuinely didn't think she would be upset. So, I put on one of the wigs and looked at myself in the mirror. I must admit, it was pretty amusing. I decided to take it a step further and started joking around, doing silly dances and making exaggerated expressions in the mirror. In my mind, it was all just harmless fun, and I didn't mean any harm by it. Unfortunately, my girlfriend returned earlier than expected and caught me in the act. The moment she walked in, she had this look of shock and sadness on her face. I immediately took off the wig and tried to explain that it was just a joke, but she didn't say a word. She quietly went into our bedroom, and I could hear her sobbing softly. Feeling terrible about what I had done, I knocked on the bedroom door and asked if I could come in. She didn't respond, so I slowly entered and found her sitting on the edge of the bed, her face buried in her hands. I tried to comfort her and apologize, but she just looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. She explained to me that the reason she wears wigs is not just for style, but also because she feels insecure about her natural hair. She opened up about how society often places unfair expectations on black women's hair, and how she sometimes struggles with her own self-image. Seeing me make fun of the wigs, even in a light-hearted way, triggered all those insecurities and made her feel ashamed. I felt like the worst person in the world for causing her pain, and I truly never intended for my actions to hurt her. I apologized profusely and told her that I would never make light of something that meant so much to her again. I assured her that I love and support her no matter what, and that I would do whatever it takes to make it right. Now we're at a bit of an impasse. She accepted my apology but needs some space to process everything. She's decided to stay with a friend for a couple of days to clear her mind. I completely understand and respect her need for space, but I can't help but feel like I've damaged our relationship irreparably. Am I the idiot? Edit. Holy poop, I didn't accept this post would garner much attention, but I'm grateful for the advice and opinions you've shared. I already knew that what I did to my girlfriend was disgusting, but after reading your comments, I now understand that the situation was far more serious than I initially thought. I want to apologize not only for my actions but also for my disrespectful and unacceptable behavior, and as soon as I have an update I'll let you know. You're the idiot. Can you imagine something you might wear or use to help you feel better about a trait that society tells you is less desirable or ugly? Can you think about how you would feel if a partner who has never felt those insecurities treated that object like a prop for? Look, I'm so ridiculous in this. Physical comedy? I feel like this could just be bait because it's well known that black women are frequently othered, judged, stigmatized, and bothered for their hair. If it isn't bait, man, just do better. You're the idiot. You seem very ignorant about issues black women have with their hair. I'm a middle-aged white woman, and I'm aware. I suggest you watch the documentary Good Hair that Chris Rock made to help his daughter come to terms and accept her own beautiful hair. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for not feeding my husband because he caused me to have an allergic reaction? He technically didn't cause an allergic reaction, but he pushed me into it. I, female 26, am allergic to a plant that lives in the state my husband, male 29, and I have moved to. We aren't sure which plant yet but are narrowing it down kinda. My doctor has told me not to do any yard work whatsoever because I have an allergic reaction every time. Full body rash and swollen joints for like a week. Wearing gloves and protective clothes has not helped. My husband knows all of this. Yesterday he mowed and pressured me into helping him rake up grass and weeds. I didn't want to and I mentioned that I could have an allergic reaction, but he said that he needed help and that I would be fine. Against my better judgment I thought that if I just raked and didn't physically touch anything I would be fine. I didn't want to refuse him when he insisted. Today I have a rash all over and a lot of swelling and I feel like poop. I normally meal prep for the next week on Sundays. This morning I half-assed threw me some salads and Tupperware for next week and called it a day. I eat a lot of easy stuff that doesn't require cooking so it's fine. My husband on the other hand eats like 15 pounds of meat a week as well as vegetables and sides. It usually takes me hours to cook his food and it's very draining. I told him he needs to cook his food for the next week, because I'm too tired and my skin feels awful. He got mad and said he just eat takeout since he wants to relax on his last day off. So now I have to freeze all the meat so it doesn't go to waste. He only cooks once or twice a year. He thinks it's not fair for me to not feed him since I agreed to rake, and it isn't his fault I had an allergic reaction. I'm not trying to punish him, but I'm really suffering right now and I just don't have it in me. I also do think it wasn't fair for him to pressure me into doing something he knows I medically shouldn't do. Am I the idiot for not feeding my husband? Edit, dang, you guys really hate my husband, haha. He's actually a pretty decent guy. I think this post just portrayed him in a bad light. He works 80 hours a week to support me while I go to school, and he still manages to do at least half of the cleaning. I talked to him, and he said his back was just hurting and he was stressed out from work, and he wasn't thinking. He apologized and brought me dinner while I laid on the couch. I'm not doing his meal prep this week because I really just can't, but we both came to terms with it. He'll feed himself, and I'll try to manage my skin as best as I can. It looks awful and feels worse. He's not a lazy guy. He works hard to make things up in other areas, and he just hates cooking. Which, to be fair, I hated yard work even before we moved to this shitty state where I'm allergic to everything. Not the idiot. He knows you are trying to figure out what you are allergic to. You had a medical reason not to do the raking. He should not have bullied you into helping with the raking. You have the horrible consequences of helping, and he is now experiencing the inconvenient, easy consequence of not having you prep his meals for the week. I am so angry that he expects you to cook when you don't feel well. He is choosing not to cook. Please do not feel guilty that you are not up to feeding him. He is a grown man. I hope you can treat yourself to something nice when this latest allergy attack is over. Please don't help next time. You may have an allergy attack that is even worse next time. Not the idiot. Even if he hadn't caused an allergic reaction, which he did, he is a full-grown adult with the ability to cook for himself. If he doesn't know how to, he looks for a tutorial online and leaves you out of it. You are not his servant. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling mom/sister to stop volunteering me for stuff? I'm a male 29, working full-time and part-time. Hey, race the situation. Well, recently, I keep getting texts from my mom and my sister. And it will always be something like, hey, can you help Mrs. Jones install her sliding glass door? And that was fine at first. Because they were asking me. And usually I would say no. But recently they changed the way they said it, like, you're going to go help Mrs. Jones, right? You're going to go help Mrs. Holmes clean her garage, right? You're going to go over to Mrs. Stone's place to go shovel manure, right? It's gotten to the point where they just expect me to know things are wrong and that I have to go fix them. I'm already tired from the long hours I work. And they'll just keep texting me asking if I have any free time during the weekend. And if I don't answer the texts, then they call. It came to a boil when my dad called, and then I picked up and he asked me about it, saying your mom and your sister wanted me to call because they said you'll say yes if I call. And then proceeded to ask me about if I could help out their friends/neighbors. But I already lived 30 minutes away from them, and I just felt like snapping right then and there. I already would have to have an hour commute in total just to get there and back. It came to a head when we were at a family reunion. And my mom and sister were going around volunteering me for projects without even telling me. Then when I said I couldn't, oh, your mom and sister said you were available? I couldn't take it anymore, so I told my mom and sister we needed to talk. But they told me, if you want to talk to us, you can say it right here. They said it loud enough to get everyone's attention, and I just straight up said I can't keep up with all the things they're volunteering me for, and it's driving me nuts. Then they say, well, some of them can't move around so well anymore, so they need your help. Don't you want to help them? I then tried to explain that I'm already working full-time, and I barely have any time to myself anymore, and that it's not cool to volunteer me for projects not knowing my schedule, or just assuming I don't have anything else going on. I brought up an example where I had a dentist appointment, and I get a call from my mom asking where I was, and that I was supposed to go help out Mrs. Jones with something. But I told her how I had a dentist appointment scheduled for today, and she told me I shouldn't double book. But I had told Mrs. Jones a week ago I couldn't help that day because of it. Then my mom and sister start to raise their voices at me, saying I'm overreacting, and that they don't ask me for much. You're right. You just tell people I'll do it without asking me first. In hindsight, I know I could have handled that better. Not the idiot. It's wrong for your mom and sister to volunteer you for anything without your consent, even if you weren't busy with anything yourself. Besides, if they really wanted to help these supposedly immobile old people, I think they could do it themselves. It's not like cleaning the garage is something that takes your own unique skills to accomplish. Not the idiot. It's easy to volunteer other people for things and then look like the neighborhood angels while it costs them no time, money, or effort. They can help Mrs. Jones with things if they think it's so important. And I get that not everyone knows how to DIY things, but they can either Google it or pay a repairman if they want to be helpful. They have no right to volunteer you for things. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my friend to leave our Airbnb? Me and my boyfriend, 20 female and 20 male, rented a lake house Airbnb for this week and we invited some friends. There are 8 of us on this trip. Me and my boyfriend, Alex, Kate, and her boyfriend, James, Alyssa, and her boyfriend, Thomas, and 2 of our single friends, Lauren and Simon. The lake house has 4 bedrooms. Bedrooms number 1, 2, and 3 have king beds and bedroom 4 has a bunk bed. We specifically got this Airbnb because it made sense that the couples would sleep on the king beds and the 2 singles would get the bunk bed. Everyone drove up to the Airbnb this morning. Me and my boyfriend were the last ones that got there because we stopped to get everybody some lunch. By the time we got there, everyone had picked their rooms and unloaded their bags. The last room left was the bunk bed room. I stepped out into the living room where everyone was and asked why Lauren and Simon weren't sleeping in the bunk bed room. Lauren said the king bed was more comfortable. Me and Simon don't want to sleep on the bunk bed. I said, that's not really fair. The other couples all get a king bed. The bunk bed was specifically for you guys. So please just move your stuff. Lauren then said, no, we got here first so we got dibs. I then said, either you guys move into the bunk bed room or you guys can leave. Me and Alex are the ones that paid for the Airbnb, so at the end of the day, what we say goes. Lauren then got all mad, grabbed her stuff and left. Simon got up and said it wasn't a problem that he'd move into the bunk bed room. I got a text from Lauren just now saying that I was being a witch over a literal bunk. All of our other friends are on our side about this, but am I the AH? I didn't mean to make Lauren upset, but she was being so difficult. Edit, got a couple comments already about this, but the Airbnb was completely paid for by me and Alex. Everyone else was in charge of food, snacks, alcohol, and any activities we want to do. We didn't ask anyone to pay their share of the Airbnb. Not the idiot. Your friend Lauren is inconsiderate, to a mind-boggling degree. Even if everyone was paying an equal share, I think it would be common courtesy to offer the king-sized bed to couples. I don't think that's a stretch. Calling dibs? What are we, 12 years old? Edit, to add, also if someone has booked/arranged/coordinated something for a group, it really is just the considerate thing to do, to offer a choice RGD sleeping arrangements. Everyone sucks here. Sleeping arrangements should have been discussed more thoroughly, but it seems pretty reasonable to have assumed to some degree the couples get the larger beds. You were the last to arrive because you actually picked up lunch for everyone, so she's kind of crappy for the losers weepers attitude. Your edit erroneously and needlessly, from your comments, indicated you paid for the Airbnb like a treat for everyone. That's inaccurate. You paid the lodging and it was going to even out to costs as everyone else was covering other expenses. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.